Hello everyone and welcome to A Studios. Today we are talking about the very controversial and confusing topic of tattoo copying. I want to simplify it so more people understand what it is, what isn't it, what are the possible consequences of tattoo copying, and how can it be avoided. There are many videos on YouTube that are about tattoo copying, and many are made from a place of anger where a very personal tattoo was copied onto someone else. As a client, a tattoo collector, or simply the person who has an original piece on their body, there is no doubt going to be frustration. To those who simply dismiss it as, if you put it on the internet, expect it to be copied, fuck off, please. There are laws that protect art that is specifically put on the internet, and just because you don't want to empathize with someone who had a negative experience with tattoo copying doesn't mean that you have the right to be an asshole. I understand the anger of getting a tattoo copied, yet I want to look at the subject more objectively. First, we need to have a definition of what is and isn't considered tattoo copying. Generally, people think that tattoo copying is taking an idea of a tattoo you see and tattooing that same idea on another person. This is where people think it's complicated because no one owns the right to an idea of a tattoo. But I want to be specific. So, to me, tattoo copying is tracing a design directly from a photo or a picture and using that as a stencil to tattoo. Now, you may be asking, what about Flash? Isn't Flash copied all the time? And you would be correct about that. I think that Megan Massacre says it best in Inked's video on tattoo copying. Quote, technically, that is copying someone else's artwork. However, that person who is doing the artwork know that they're making it for other artists to copy. End quote. In the case of Flash, it was made with the mindset of it being something that would be copied and tattooed on multiple people. When a shop has a Flash day, one shouldn't expect to be the only one to get a design that is on the Flash sheet. Flash is meant to be copied. Original works, on the other hand, are not. So, as a definition for tattoo copying, I came up with this. An act of tracing or directly stealing an image or work from another artist, in which the image was a custom piece for a single person and to tattoo it. As for portraits and replications of famous artworks, many clients may want the same piece, i.e., a portrait of Michael Jackson or the Starry Night. This does not fall under the definition of tattoo copying, because it is replicating a work of art that is identifiable and not a custom design for a client. Portrait reference pictures could of course be different for each and every tattoo, but it is up to the discretion of the artist and what the client wants to decide which picture they want to reference from. In the age of social media, there is also a large opportunity for an artist to credit the inspiration of a tattoo. For example, a client brings in a photo of an original design by another artist. They insist that their design must look like this tattoo. And as an artist, you draw your own tattoo, heavily referencing the image, but also creating a work that's in your own style. It does not look exactly the same as the original reference, but is clearly influenced by it. When posting on social media, the artist could tag the original artist that created the inspiration. If the original design was not meant to be tattooed, such as an abstract painting or a character in a comic, especially designed by non-celebrity artists, one should ask permission before even stepping foot in a shop. Some may be okay with their work becoming a tattoo, but others might be uncomfortable with the idea. Differentiating between larger artists and franchise and smaller artists for this sort of thing is the discussion for another video. So now we know what is and isn't considered tattoo copying. What do we do with it now? Well, there can be some consequences to tattoo copying, whether you are the tattoo artist who is copying the design or the client who wants to get the exact copy. But before that, let's learn a little bit about intellectual properties and copyright laws. Intellectual property, or IP, is defined as a work or invention that is the result of creativity, such as a manuscript or design, to which one has the rights and for which one may apply for a patent, copyright, trademark, etc. In short, any original design that has been created for a client is the artist's IP, and by copying their design line for line, the artist that is stealing the work is infringing on the IP of the original artist. Even not in the tattoo world, this is a very big no-no. If each design an artist makes is considered their IP, as the definition states, they could gain copyright on their designs, which creates a major consequence for those who copy those designs. Copyright actually exists from the moment that a piece is created, but if an artist wants to fully protect their work must be registered at the Copyright Office. It is only $35 to register an artwork, which may seem like a hefty price to pay to protect a work that may not even be stolen. Though, what comes of this insurance on your artwork may be worth it. As described in the Art Law Journal by Steve Schlachman, registration with the U.S. Copyright Office gives a copyright holder the ability to reap statutory damages and have attorney's fees paid for in a lawsuit if you win, and if the registration occurred before the infringement or within 3 months of making the image available to friends or the public, i.e. receiving up to $20,000 for the infringement. If that is an incentive to copyright your tattoo designs, I don't know what is. To simplify, you want to get copyright for your designs before you release it or up to 3 months after you release it to make sure that your copyright registration is good in the case of a lawsuit. And as far as insurance goes, $35 isn't that much to protect the integrity of your artwork and the trust of a client who came to you to get something completely original that no one else has. Even so, some may bring up the point that imitation is flattery. Emily Danchuk, an IP attorney, describes it as such. Quote, "The best analogy I can come up with to this train of thought is like this. If someone walked past your house, really like the television they saw through your window, and stole it, you wouldn't say, 'I'm so flattered that someone stole my television. I must have a really good taste in electronics.' You'd call the police." End quote. Some artists who can be considered celebrity may not have an issue with stolen designs because it doesn't affect their career. But that doesn't stop smaller artists from being hurt by the theft of their design. Now, I have to disclaim that I am no attorney, nor have I heard of any cases of tattoo copying that eventually came to a copyright lawsuit. This is simply a possible solution to the problem that is tattoo copying. These are just the things that I found in my research of intellectual property and copyright infringement. And so to wrap up, I want to summarize a few things that can be done to prevent tattoo copying/stealing. For artists, you want to copyright your original designs if possible. With this protection, no one really wants to have to deal with lawyers in a lawsuit, especially when it is your intellectual property. 2, you want to start respecting your fellow artists. Even if the artist in question doesn't agree with you on political views or otherwise, we're all just artists doing something that we love. Creating is something that artists do, and respect to each other and other artists doesn't have to begin with agreeing on every single point. We are all human, we all make mistakes. Next, we want to encourage clients and the general public away from direct copies. This isn't only on the artist's part, but also on the part of tattoo enthusiasts and people who talk about tattoos. We want to make sure that people know that it is very detrimental to steal designs, and honestly, it seems like common sense, but a lot of people just don't get it. And the last and final thing that we should be doing is calling out those people who copy. Now, this can start drama, but it's really important to have people know of this situation. But just because you're calling someone out on their bad behavior doesn't mean that you should be disrespectful. It's your right and your IP that is being stolen, but anger never helps in situations like these, and usually it causes more problems. If you're calling someone out, in my opinion, it's better not to be super rude and not to have people attack them, because that just never solves anything. You just want to be informative to your audience that they steal, and hopefully they will learn from the experience. And if they don't learn, it's not your problem anymore. You have said what you need to get the word out to your audience, and hopefully they will lose business because of their copying tendencies. If you have any other ideas on how tattoo copying can possibly be solved, please leave your comments below. I will put links to all the sources that I use down in the description, and I suggest you go read some of them as well. More than one perspective on a topic is always beneficial, so I'd love to hear your ideas and comments. That's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed and learned a little something, and I will see you guys next week.